What's up, guys? I'm Shay, and you're watching bornagainnerd. Welcome to this time frame. Luckily, I work from home normally, so staying home thing is nothing new, but this whole quarantine thing has affected my family and friends and the way I do business and whatnot. So, yeah. I've been seeing, people post on Facebook, usually social media, of what units can they get now. And when I mean units, I'm talking about emulation devices, such as this. So I have a pile of emulation devices that I have covered in my channel back in previous episodes. If you want to see those, go check them out. If you want more in-depth review. This is just to showcase a few of them that you can get right now, that are available right now, usually through Amazon or last resort, maybe BitBoy. But anything like eBay or something, I would try to avoid right now. I'm only going to focus on American market because that's where I'm at. I'm in the Midwest. So, yeah, so all the prices and availability is just based on from where I live. It may be different for you if you live in a different country. You might have more access over one or the other unit. So I'm just going to go down the list of the ones that I have that you can potentially buy for now during this pandemic that we're going through. So here we go. Let's start with the LDK series. I have the landscape version and the Pikachu version. Now you can buy these on Amazon right now. Pikachu version is a little cheaper. So I think in my notes I wrote everything down because, you know, prices can change too. So just note, and I'll have some background footage of something playing probably so you can see what it looks like if you haven't seen one before. So the landscape is going for like $60. I think the Pikachu is a little different. I think it's like $50 or something like that. So definitely keep these in mind. If you were going to choose one or the other, I would highly recommend the Pikachu one because for me personally, I like the form factor way better than I like the landscape. And the only difference is that you have the stick here. That's the only difference. The operating system screen and everything else is exactly the same. And the chipset and everything, exactly the same. So that's the LDK series. Okay? Alrighty. Moving on. Next up on the list, should be no shocker, but the RG350. This is available on Amazon right now for about $129. I found it for different prices, but if you want it now, sent to you shipped, it's about $130 on my side. So, it's great because it can play PS1 games. It's pretty powerful for its size. It does have, you know, 2 USB. I think it has 2 slots where you put your card in, or is that the pocket? Nope, sorry. It has 2 Type-C connectors. It doesn't have HDMI out, whereas, you know, if you get on an LDK, I think it does hook up to your TV and you can play this on your TV, but I just haven't tried it out yet. But this will not hook up to your TV. This is basically a portable. So, but it'll play things all the way up to PS1. It will not emulate N64, so nothing on my list can emulate N64. So if that's what you want, then you're going to have to go to a way different setup, like an Android. Actually, I do have one that plays N64. I take that back. I'll get that in a second. So this is probably showing footage, hopefully, right about here. It's customizable. You can add your own stuff to it. It's pretty cool. Same with the LDK. You can add whatever. It goes up to 32-bit. Okay, moving on. Since I mentioned 64 games, I'm going to have to show this one off. Now, this has different names, okay? I know this as the POW Kitty A19, although it's going, I think it's called a Handheld gaming station. I wrote it down. What's the other name for it? I don't know, but you can find it on, I wrote it down, what they're calling it. Let me double check. Let me see if I can find it here in my notes. I can't find it in my notes. So anyway, I'll put something up on over here, something I probably found on Amazon, and I'll link it or I'll show it here behind me. But Anyway, this will play N64 games. It will play Dreamcast, PSP, you know, all that stuff. I think the newer ones, mine does not have the newer D-pad. I think there's newer ones now that have a D-pad, but you know what? They're not really available yet. Really, like, you have to go to China's website and order it there, and I don't recommend doing that right now. So, if you want it now, they have it on Amazon for, I think, $120. It might be a little cheaper, but I think that's where I based it on. But it will play fine. Now, I did have some issues with mine. If you go back and look at my channel, you can see that I had some issues with the screen and whatnot. But you know what? It does work. You can't add your games to it. That's one of the things you cannot do. You can't actually add your own. You have to go through a marketplace and download the games, and a lot of times they're not in English, so... And a lot of games are not available anyway, so... But if you want a cool little handheld that plays pretty much everything as close as possible, this might be an option. But there's other options too. Okay, so... Okay, next up on the list is the GPIO Case. This is a Raspberry Pi Zero. You can order this right now on Amazon. I would highly recommend getting one with the Zero. Kit. It's a kit. You just put your Pi Zero inside this little cartridge here, put an SD card in, and then get the software, and boom, you're up. It runs pretty much everything up to PS1, but PS1 does not run very good on a Zero, but it will play pretty much everything else. Some SNES games are a little shaky, but if you want just a solid handheld that plays a lot of classic games like Game Boy Advance and things like that, NES and some Super Nintendo don't run, but it's a really nice handheld though. It's got that Game Boy feel. So if you want something like Game Boy feel, it's going for about $95, $100 for the Pi case, card, case. You know, and you can use regular batteries or you can use rechargeable batteries. That's a little extra, but you can use regular batteries if you want to. It's got good battery life. I really love this thing. I think so far, out of all the units that I have currently, for the price and availability at this point in time, I would definitely highly recommend the GPIO Case. There's upgrades you can get later on that will allow you to play the bigger titles. So, and I did a review on that as well. It's called a GPIO Case Mate CM3. You can see it, and I'll link it in the description. You can check it out. Highly recommend this. It's available now, $100. Next on the list, very easily to get, is the RG300. This plays pretty much everything as much as the LDKs will do and whatnot, up to 32-bit. It won't play PlayStation very well, and it's okay on, you know, the Super Nintendo. But it'll play pretty much everything else. Now, mine is the older version. If you get one right now on Amazon, they're about $70, $60, $70. On Amazon right now, you can order one. You'll get a different screen. Mine is not the IPS screen. Mine is the original screen. So I have the first or second model that came out. And I really wish I waited because now I don't have the nice screen. But it does play fine, and you've got the shoulder buttons and everything else. If you're into like Game Boy Advance and Game Boy stuff and you want to play some Nintendo, this is a highly recommended item. Check it out. Next on the list, the BitBoy. No, this is a version 2. I have version 2, but you can order one on Amazon right now for version 3. I think it's $50. It plays pretty much everything. The other ones will play. It'll play no PlayStation, but it will do up to 32-bit. So it'll play some Super Nintendo, Game Boy. It'll play all of them. NES and Genesis and all that. It'll play those fine. Original Pocket Go version 1. Now I'm gonna include this one. This one's like $40, and this one's $60. The catch is you have to order through BitBoy. The Amazon does not sell these currently right now, and eBay is not selling them. I can't find them on eBay either. So you would have to go through BitBoy, and the wait is about 10 to 15 day wait to order these. But the price is, you can't beat it. This plays pretty much everything except for some PS1 games do work, but it's really this one that plays the PS1. This one right here. And so I would highly recommend taking a look at these, take a gander, because I really, really dig these units. But if you want something right now, they may not be on your list at this time. I have the Odroid Go. Now, you can buy this on Amazon right now. It comes in a kit. I think I wrote down what the price factor is. If not, I will flash it somewhere around here magically. Okay. Now, Odroid, this is interesting because it is programmable. You can customize it the way you want. Mine only goes up to, like, you know, portable systems, so Game Boy and NES and Sega Master and Coleco. It doesn't really go any further than that, so no SNES or anything, but you can update your firmware so that it will play other things. And it's kind of a cool little unit, so I might have some footage of it playing. If you want something to tinker with, this might be an option for you. Okay, so this is called a CM3 Retro Handheld. This is available on Amazon. It's super expensive though. I think they were wanting $170 for this thing. Maybe it was $180. I paid $150 for mine when it first came out early around the summer of last year. And it's a CM3 unit. It will play Dreamcast. It will play N64 games. It will play some PSP. It is a Raspberry, so you can actually add your own stuff to it. Yeah, it's a really nice handheld, and it's available now. I don't know how much I would recommend getting it because of the price point. It is a little pricey for what you get, but it does have a lot to offer. What else I wanted to say? One of the things that I don't really care for it is the fact that if you do play N64 games on it, you're missing some inputs. So you might want to, you know, just think about it. If you want it for like PS1 games and you want to play some arcade games, this might be an option for you. So keep that in mind. I thought I would throw that out there. So that's it. I think if I were to choose right now, if I were to only pick one of these units up and play, given the fact that it's available now, I can get it now, but you can order it right now. It's not that expensive, it's affordable, and what you get from it, and how far you can take it. And my favorite pick is the GPIO Case. Yes, I picked this over everything else. And the reason is because it can be upgraded. I have proof of that. I've got a CM3 that will plug right in here, and you can play CM3 stuff later on down the road. But given that we're in a pandemic right now, and things are just not readily available, if I were to do my second choice, I'd probably go with a Pocket Go 2 because it's $60. Excuse me. And then, you know, last resort, RG350. And if you can't do that $90 or $129 price tag, go with the RG300 with the IPS screen. Make sure it has the IPS screen. So these are my two picks. Okay, the RG300 or the GPIO Case. The RG300 will already be kind of ready to go, hopefully, and you won't have to do much, but the GPIO Case will require some assembly, so keep that in mind. That's it, guys. I hope you liked this episode. It's just something I threw together. Hopefully it'll help some of you guys out there that are bored out of their mind, want something to do. If you want something for the kiddos, I highly recommend, you know, the LDK for the kiddos, or, you know, something, even the RG300, something easy and fun for the family that can be hooked up to the TV. I don't think this will hook up to the TV, though, so keep that in mind. Some will, some won't. I don't know, you can try it. But anyway, that's it for this episode. Thank you so much. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't already, hit that like, hit the subscribe, and the bell, so you know when I post stuff, because it's going to be random now, because I don't know what I'm doing. So anyway, thank you guys, and stay safe out there, and be kind to others, okay? And that's it. I'm out of here.